these lads have obviously come halfway across the world today, and they're going to have a great week here at some of our Premier League academies and training grounds. How much would you have valued that sort of experience when you were at that stage?
I would have loved it, because when you're sort of like football mad like I was, it's such a great experience, and I'm sure they'll embrace every moment. It's a unique experience, and especially with the facilities now. I mean, the Tottenham, the training ground now is one of the best in Europe. I was actually at the West Ham training ground recently. Good people there, and I'm sure the kids here will really enjoy that. Just want to say good luck to all the teams playing in the Next Gen Cup. All the best, and I hope you do well.
Where you go? So, Wes, we've got teams from South Africa and India here today, and they're playing throughout this week. And obviously, your old club, Leicester City, is hosting one of our tournaments. How pleased are you to see Leicester engaging with clubs from around the world?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see. I know Leicester is a very welcoming club. They'd be keen to get involved with any type of project. It's good to see this project happening and the teams that's coming over. It's a great experience for them, and it's great for Leicester to have them in our facilities and using our training ground, and hopefully they can learn something from them.
Welcome to the Premier League offices in the heart of London. It is so good to have you all here for the third edition of the Next Gen Cup. I'll just give a couple of shout outs. I know we've got a few teams in the room. So from South Africa, Stellenbosch FC, welcome guys. And the captain of the team, a team that defied all the odds, 5,000 to 1. Of course, I'm talking about Wes Morgan, former captain of Leicester City. And of course, you managed to get your hands on the FA Cup trophy before you retired as well, of course. And our second guest this afternoon for you guys is one of the most prolific Premier League goal scorers. He joined the 100 Premier League Gold Club, but that wasn't enough for him. 150 still wasn't enough. He's actually in the all-time top 10 goal scorers ever in the competition. Talking about Jermaine Defoe, 162 goals to his name with 5 Premier League clubs during 17 seasons. Please make some noise. So, as you guys know, we are here joined by teams from India and South Africa. So, I guess the best place to start is, during your careers, how aware were you of the global reach of the Premier League, of your fan bases in other parts of the world?
I think for me, obviously playing locally for your local clubs, I was at Nottingham Forest for a long time, and I was at Leicester. In my early years, you don't really know the worldwide audience that follow you. It wasn't until I played internationally for Jamaica, and you meet fans from all over the world. They get a real sense that they watch you week in, week out. They know everyone, they know the best players, the top goal scorers. They know so much about the football, the English game, and you get a real sense of how big the football community is. But playing internationally for Jamaica opened my eyes and gave me a real sense of how big it is.
Jermaine, of course, you played for 5 different clubs during the Premier League: West Ham, Tottenham, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Portsmouth. Did you get more of a sense of that at all?
Like Wes said, really, when I was younger, you don't really understand the sort of magnitude of the league, and you don't actually realise that there's, all over the world is so big, and sort of like the people got actually the same love as you. I remember, obviously, my family is St Lucian. So I remember going to St Lucia, and the games were just sort of like just on the TV. You didn't have to pay for it. The Premier League, they just watch all the games. And like Wes said, they know all the players, the top goal scorers, and I was quite taken back in that. And I remember, obviously, I got into the England squad. I remember playing in the World Cup in South Africa, and I remember landing and driving to the hotel, and literally all the staff were outside, singing and dancing, and you realise, wow. And even like pre-season trips when you travel away, because obviously back then there was no social media. So when we first, we had Nokia phones. so like yeah, I know. So like obviously when you sort of like travel, one of my first trips we went to Mauritius with Tottenham, I remember landing at the airport and all the fans were there and they sort of like, they're saying your name and they got pictures of you and stuff like that. And you're like, wow. Because you feel like you're in a little bubble. You know, you're in England, you're playing in the Premier League, and you don't actually realise what West said all over the world. It's just so big.
It's incredible,
yeah.
And the reach is so far, and it's.
You know, the point of this is to help develop each of our shared experiences and make football better. So it's a fantastic thing.
Sticking in line with our guys here asking questions, they're all from under 21s teams. What advice would you give for players at that stage in their career?
Under 21s, just to enjoy it. Enjoy every moment because it goes quick. Try not to waste the training session because football's difficult. There's ups and downs, as Wes can tell you, and you know you've got to sort of like, I've always thought, you know, just enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself because I always knew there's times when you're going to be playing well and there's times where you're not going to be playing well, and I think you just have to, in the good times you can't get too high, you know, keep level-headed, and you know if you're playing bad, you know, just try and be positive, but just embrace every moment because it goes so fast. Just enjoy it and work hard, always work hard, and want to improve every single day. It's not easy, but just try and have that sort of mentality where, okay, I want to improve every single day because, you know, that's why we do it.
Martin, how vital is the partnership between the Premier League and the Indian Super League?
Well, I'm feeling inspired and motivated after having listened to what I've listened to today. It's been wonderful. So I cannot emphasise enough how important the Premier League partnership with Indian football. Obviously, the Premier League is, you know, the top league in the world, and having the partnership where we can aspire, learn, and really kind of, you know, have people engage with the Premier League and with ourselves in the manner that they are is wonderful. It's really exciting.
With the partnership holistic in its approach, how is it looking at other elements of the game in terms of supporting coaches and referees?
I mean, I think there's probably, when I look at the partnership, there's three aspects to the partnership that I see that really benefit us. It's obviously the whole youth side, the technical development, having young players come through our ecosystem with the help of the Premier League in tournaments such as Next Gen. You cannot just overemphasise how much that is from an experience point of view for a young man coming into the game. The second aspect to it is actually these young players need great coaches, and the fact that the Premier League will be helping us with mentoring our coaches, you know, through distance learning, some of the webinars we've organised, these are essential for our coaches. And then the third part of it, as we develop our players and we develop our coaches and the game in general, we need to have the referees that develop at the same time. So through the third part of having the referees through the elite refereeing programme, those three components that the Premier League give Indian football is massive. And you know, long may it continue, and hopefully we can be more productive and keep going, because events like today are just wonderful.
And what do you hope to achieve from the tournament itself in terms of what it gives?
If you know, when I listened to Wes and Jermaine, I wanted to go back 35 years and drag on my football boots immediately. I hope these boys go back in the plane inspired. I hope they're inspired as footballers to see what they can achieve in the game. You know, when Wes spoke about, you know, the fact that he thought he was out of the game and going back to college, and then he lifts the Premier League trophy years later, that should inspire all youngsters in the game. And if they go back to India and indeed South Africa, and they feel inspired as young men, as good all-rounded people who have a wonderful insight into football and culture at places like Tottenham and Leicester, and they then impart that to their colleagues and the players and the staff that didn't make it over here, then for me that would be a real win.